I was driving a quite a fast car at that moment. I felt maybe I should just drive into a bridge. I cannot handle all the pain I have to carry. What helped me through was a dream that I had from my dad. I dreamt that my dad was walking down the street and my dad said, "Johanna, you have to be strong because you have to stand at everybody's graves."
That when someone dies close to you, that there is a soul connection and that literally we have to break that soul connection.
And then all of a sudden he puts his hand on my head and he started to pray for me. My whole chest was opening up and the big hand of God took away all that pain that I was carrying.
Welcome to M-powerTV, where we leave a legacy of hope through conversations that uplift, educate, and inspire. Listen to incredible stories of people who overcame challenges and barriers, celebrate victories, learn from setbacks, and push forward together.
And you would hear all this torture and then they would shoot.
Want to be empowered? Let's go. Subscribe for more and get this book now.
Hello and welcome to M-powerTV. My name is Lorna Grayling and joining us all the way from Minnesota today is Johanna Vendel. She's an award-winning author, a podcast host, and a woman with one of the most overcoming stories that I have ever heard. Johanna, thank you for joining us and welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me, Lorna.
Johanna, literally, I don't think I've ever spoken to anybody with a story quite like yours, right? You have literally lost your entire family. Like every single person that you grew up with has died, and in traumatic ways. And yet you have taken all of that and made it one phenomenal story of overcoming. Literally, if I can ever see someone that's gone through a test and has made a testimony out of that, that has been you. So we're gonna go through how you were able to go through all of this loss and still turn it into something so powerful. But let's go back. Take us through what happened. I know the first person close to you that died was your father, right? Who died at a very young age.
Yes.
What happened?
I was 19 years old at the time and my dad had a heart attack. He was the only breadwinner. And basically it was the very first time I had to deal with death. I really struggled quite a lot. I just didn't know how to overcome it. After that, I got married, but I was crying a lot. What helped me through was a dream that I had from my dad. It's not a dream that I shared with anybody except with my mother, because I dreamt that my dad was walking down the street in some kind of town. And I dream I'm calling my father and I'm like, "Daddy, Daddy." And he's not listening. And he goes around a corner and I'm running to get to him. And eventually, after about 3 or 4 times calling him, I caught up to him. He told me, "Johanna, why are you calling me?" I said, "Daddy, you left without saying goodbye. I miss you, you know." And I was crying and I'm like, "I miss you so much. I cannot handle this pain." And my dad said, "Johanna, you have to be strong." I'm like, "I cannot be strong, Daddy. I loved you so much." It's like, "No, you have to be strong because you have to stand at everybody's graves."
Wow.
That was quite a shock for me. I said, "I won't be able to do that." My dad said, "Yes, you can. You have to be strong."
Wow.
So I cried and I woke up. I needed to tell someone, but I didn't want to tell my brothers and sisters because It's not something you want to tell your brothers and sisters.
It's almost like you don't want to speak it out loud, right? Because it's just such a shock. Yeah.
Yes, yes. So we always used to go to church, and we are Christians. And my mother, she will listen if I ask her something. So I went to my mom and I told her my dream. And I said that I'm really worried about this dream because it's like Daddy said that I'm going to be the last one standing. I don't want to be the last one standing. I can't do that. And my mom says, no, you have to put it aside. Don't take it as it was. It was just a dream. Don't think about it. So it bothered me for a while, and I never spoke about it again except with my mom.
Just shoved it under the rug, right?
Kind of just shoved it under the rug, yes.
Because what else can one do with a dream like that? I mean, you can't focus on it the whole time because it will destroy your mind and your peace, right?
Yes, you can't live your life according to a dream because sometimes dreams don't really happen as you dream it. Sometimes it just wants to give you a message. But after all this time, this message kept me strong because I did lose my whole family. 6 members. And this message, every time when someone passed away, it did keep me strong.
Wow, it's almost like you were prepared, right? Did it prepare?
It was almost like my dad prepared me for all of this that I'm going to have to go through.
It's amazing that you see it as a blessing, because I think that's part of finding strength in something, and part of healing is when you can see a blessing even in something bad, right? Because part of the trauma when someone dies is the shock of, now that person is dead. Like, it's a huge shock, and then you have to deal with the loss, right? And in this case, it's almost like you were prepared for that shock. It's like, all right, I know this was gonna happen and I need to be strong.
Although I didn't want to live my life according to that.
Of course.
I took every day as it came, and I prayed that God won't take my people.
Of course.
Because I don't want my dream to come true, especially not at my age where I'm still young. I mean, I was 46 when I lost 6 people.
And so I know your mom was in a car accident as well, because now she was the breadwinner, right? After your dad passed, but that wasn't so easy because she had been in this car accident, so it wasn't easy for her to work, right?
Yes, that was when my dad was still alive. My mom was in a car accident. Her back really was so messed up, and she couldn't really work and really take care of us. But we were at the age, I am one of a twin. That's why I will say we were at the age.
Yeah.
We were able to go work after my dad died because my mom, she couldn't take care of us, and that's why I then went to go live with my boyfriend at the time, and that became my 2 children's father.
I know. I mean, after that, I think the next person who died was your twin sister, right?
Yes.
What happened?
My twin sister, she was pregnant. We were 23 at the time. She went all the way 9 months. Her water broke and they rushed her into hospital. Your normal procedure that one will go through. And when they got to the hospital, they realized the baby's heart stopped. Then they realized that they can't find a heartbeat at all. They needed to do emergency cesarean. With that, my sister's kidneys failed. That is then when they realized that she actually has preeclampsia. With the kidneys that failed, the water that started to just fill up her whole body, her neck and her face was so swollen from all the water that started to build up in her body that she passed away 2 days later.
That must have been so tough, because I know my husband is a twin, one of a twin as well. And there's this connection between twins, right? that is hard to explain, but it's I feel like it's worse losing a twin a lot of the times because it's all a part of you. I don't know how to explain it, but I had never seen him so sad, other than the day that his twin brother died. Yeah.
It took me almost 9 years to get over my sister after she passed away. It's that soul connection that they say you have. And I can honestly say the day that I gave my heart to Jesus, that is the day that her soul connection broke from me.
Is that something that you would recommend that people take note of, that when someone dies close to you, that there is a soul connection and that literally we have to break that soul connection and connect our souls and our spirits to Jesus, right?
Yes, it's not just with a twin sister that you have that soul connection. You actually have a soul connection with absolutely everybody you grew up with, because you have different memories of them all. They played a different role in your life. So it is definitely different soul connections that is tied to your soul, you know. But my twin sister and I, we were so close. And then when I had my son, she always used to call my son her baby. The day when she died, her last words to me was, "Give my baby a kiss from me." So what did I do? I went to my son and I gave my son a kiss from his aunt because he was our baby. But then we got to her funeral and my mom said, "You have to see your sister," because I didn't want to see my dad. I wanted to remember my dad the way I knew him, you know. I decided, okay, I will go see my twin sister. My mom said, "You have to see her because you need to know that she's not there. I know how you struggled with your dad. So you need to go and say goodbye to your twin sister." And then when I got to the coffin, I saw this red little figure lying in the side of her neck, and it was her baby. At that time, I did not want to look at the baby because I was broken. I was really broken.
Yeah.
I looked at her and I just kissed her on her forehead and I turned around and I walked away.
Yeah.
So time goes past. I'm thinking of her last words. "Give my baby a kiss from me." If all of a sudden I'm like thinking, maybe she meant I must give her baby a kiss.
Yeah.
And I didn't. It took a while for me to get over that. And then all of a sudden I had this dream again. It's like God speaks to me in dreams, or he makes me, you have to move on when you lose someone. And when you feel that you have peace with that person, you can let that person go.
Yes. You know. Yes.
But I couldn't let my sister go because this was bothering me so much.
Yeah.
And then I dreamt that I saw them, and it's almost like I walked into a church. It looked like a big churchy look. And my dad was sitting on the chair and my sister was sitting in his lap with her arm around him.
Wow.
And she had her little baby in her arms. I'm like, oh my word, I am so sorry I didn't give your baby a kiss. And she's like, Johanna, don't worry, look at me.
Yeah.
Look how happy I am. I'm so happy. I have my baby with me. I would not have been able to live if my baby was dead and I still had to live. So she says to me, do you want to come have a look at him? I said, yes. And then when I looked at him, I said, can I give him a kiss?
Oh.
And I gave him a kiss and I woke up.
Oh, wow, Johanna. How does it feel to wake up from a dream like that when it's so real, right? Do you feel some kind of peace or relief, or what does that?
I felt so good. I cannot explain the feeling that I felt. I really felt amazing. I felt like I saw her. I know she's happy. And of course, the message from my dad plays in my back of my head and of my mind that I need to be strong. But I needed to just have a little bit of peace, you know.
Because it's not that easy, right? When someone just tells you, just be strong, right? It's like, how are you strong when your whole being feels like it wants to fall apart?
Thereafter, I actually got a divorce as well. I think my sadness kind of drove my ex-husband away a little bit, because whenever I look around, I would see twins walking around. It's unbelievable how many twins you see walking around. At that time, I was very, very low, and I really almost took my own life at that time. I was driving quite a fast car at that moment, a Volvo S40. That was the year of 1997, August. My sister passed away on the 6th of August. And then Princess Diana, actually passed away the end of that month. I felt maybe I should just drive into a bridge. This car is so fast. I cannot handle all the pain I have to carry. And maybe driving into a bridge will be a good thing, you know, and I will die. I was thinking maybe I should just take a handful of pills or something and just go to sleep. But then I came to my son's creche that afternoon, and the teachers was crying. I was saying, what's wrong? Why is everybody crying? And the teachers are saying that this one teacher took her own life.
Oh, wow.
And the first thing I said was, but what about her children? And then all of a sudden, it's like this little angel sitting on my shoulder. And he says, what has been going on in your mind? What about your children? And I said, God, I will not have that thought in my head ever again. I am going to be strong, even if it is that I have to be strong for my 2 children that God gave me at that time.
So it's almost like an inner choice that you had to make, right? To be strong. And that's a powerful statement right there, right? Because to tell someone, well, just be strong, right? That's great, but how? And now you're saying, well, I made a decision. I am going to be strong for my 2 kids, right? And I'm sure there were good days and bad days, but it's, you know, I've had those moments before as well where I've made this decision to do something. And once you've decided on something, that is like 50% of the battle won right there. Yes. I think a lot of times we don't know that subconsciously we have decided to accept defeat, or we have decided, right, this is too much for me, I can't do this. And to really change your mind and say, no, I'm deciding today, I'm never gonna have that thought again. I refuse.
When one of my friends actually told me, Johanna, why don't you join us for a Christian camp? I decided, you know what? Why not? I mean, I am a Christian and I maybe need to be around people. That day at the camp, we were sitting around a campfire. And I did not really know anybody there except a friend that I went there with. And the pastor was like just chatting to us all. And by that moment, it felt like he was not just speaking to all of us. It felt like he was speaking to me.
Wow.
My chest, I cannot tell you, my chest wanted to break open. So that was now almost 9 years after my twin sister died and my dad and the divorce and everything. And I was lonely, you know, but my chest felt like it was going to break open. So at that stage, I didn't want anybody to notice me, that the tears are running down my cheeks. And I'm like just kind of wiping the tears away. As this pastor is preaching or speaking, he kind of noticed that I are trying to hide my tears. He then walked closer to me and he put his hand right on my chest here. And he says, "Does this hurt?" I couldn't speak a word.
Wow.
I just started to like really just cry. And then all of a sudden he puts his hand on my head and he started to pray for me.
Yeah.
Everybody around that campfire got up and they placed their hand on me. And Lorna, if I can tell you, I was crying so much, but at the same time, my whole chest was opening up and the big hand of God took away all that pain that I was carrying. And I cannot tell you, the pastor then afterwards spoke to me for a while and he said, "Well, we are baptizing tomorrow if you want to give your life to Jesus." And I said, "There's not even a choice. I always thought I had him in my life, but I want to do, and I want to say my own personal yes, and I want him in my life for the rest of my life, without any doubt." So the next day I was baptized, and that was 2006.
And I'm sure that gave you enormous strength, right?
I even started to write a few songs, and my very, very first Christian song was called Think Again, but in Afrikaans, Dink Weer. And that is where my book is coming from as well.
Yes.
Think Again, Life, Think Again.
Absolutely.
So yeah, I wrote approximately 5 Christian songs at that time. And then I met my new husband that I am married to now almost 17 years this year. And in the meantime, I was blessed with 2 more kids. So now I have 4 children. Because if you think that there's no God, you have to think again.
That is amazing.
Always there. We just have to sometimes stand back and look at our blessings. And then we'll know that he's there.
Amen. Amen. Just to notice him. Yeah, absolutely. I agree. Joanna, I mean, that wasn't even close to the end of all the sadness and the trauma that had hit you. I know your mom was attacked, in her home with her new husband, shot in the neck. Miraculously, she survived. I know after that, your youngest sister was killed in a car hijacking in South Africa. For our viewers out there that don't know, the crime rate in South Africa, that is super high. It is really, something to talk about for another day. But anyway, regardless. And then also losing your brother. But how?
My oldest sister.
And your oldest sister.
Passed away before my younger sister, and then my brother.
What was the difference though? Because your twin sister, your father, they passed away before you really had this encounter with Jesus, right? But then you had this encounter with the Lord, and then, I mean, that wasn't the end of all the pain and the loss. But was there a difference in how you were able to carry this loss, or how you experienced this loss, or before and after meeting?
There was definitely a big difference after I lost my mom. It is like now I have no one to talk to about my dad's dream because my mom's gone. But in the meantime, I had God. That was like my pillar all the time. And to overcome all this heartache, sometimes you need to kind of like I said earlier, you need to look at your blessings. And then I slowly became stronger and stronger. And as I lose people, it's like I did become stronger in a way because God is not done with me. And after I lost my little sister, because we became very, very close. And because she was now my last sister that was alive, we were together for 43 years. When she died, she was 43 years old. So that's how long I knew my little sister. And we just had the most amazing relationship. So if there's one person that I really still miss till today, it is my little sister. I haven't accepted that yet. But after I lost everybody, my brother, everybody, at the end, my dad's voice again came to me and he said, be strong. You know, I had a dream of my twin sister again, where I was walking towards, it was a very big, it was almost like a white building with the most beautiful garden. And I was walking so slow. And she came walking down the stairs and opened the gate for me there. And I'm realizing, but I have this cane in my hand because I see the cane in my dream. I can see the cane going forward and I'm walking. And when I walked into the gate that my sister opened up for me, she gave me a hug and I turned back to 23. But then I realized maybe after all my heartache, my sister came to me and told me, Johanna, you are going to grow old. I'm only going to come and open that gate for you when you are walking with a cane. So you know what? Here I am. What am I going to do about it now? I wrote a book, Think Again. And I told my whole life story in there. So if the viewers want to go and look for my book, it is on Amazon. And there I really describe absolutely everything that happened with each and every one of them, how they passed away, and how God has strengthened me eventually to write my story down. Amen. And doors has been opening for me. It's unreal. Last week, I just signed a contract to host my own podcast on Bold Brave Television. And it's going to be called Give Me Hope with Johanna. And my podcast will be a place where people can feel safe to tell their grief story to me. Because sometimes we all need someone to listen. Yes. And that's how God has worked with me. It's crazy.
And now you can help others as well, right?
Just to get through that grief. It is very, very difficult to get through grief all by yourself. Yes. I have done that for a while. I wrote a second book. I just published it 4 weeks ago. Navigating through losses and grief. Think Again. There, if you read my first book and you read my second book, you will see how much I've grown and how much stronger I have become after God has just let me write this book so that I can literally get all my heartache into a book. And guess what? Now I can physically close it.
Yes.
And I can put it down. And I don't have to look back. If you look at my picture there, I am not looking back in the sand. I am walking forward, and I am now going to only walk forward into the light.
Amen.
Back on yesterday, because my words are always, you cannot get yesterday back.
Yes.
You cannot be promised tomorrow. So I say personally, even though I gave my heart to Jesus in 2006, I say, give your heart to Jesus, but give it every day. That's one of my songs that I wrote as well.
Amen. Johanna, you are so inspirational. We are out of time, but I do want to just literally honor you for the amazing woman that you are. Thank you for sharing this story with us and inspiring us so that people can see that they're able to get over the grief in their lives. Is there any last advice that you can give our listeners? Something that you can leave with them that helped you overcome this enormous trauma in your life?
If you invite him into your life, believe me, he will come gladly. That's all I can say is put God in your life. It makes a big difference.
Amen. Thank you, Johanna. Thank you for sharing your story with us. And it's been absolutely amazing having you in studio.
Thank you so much, and sorry for all the tears.
And that is it from me, Lorna Grayling and M-powerTV. If you would like to get Johanna's books, the links will be on the screen as well as in the show notes. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe to our episodes. And until next week, goodbye.